I mean, you look at these children, I think it was Brother Ridwan, he was talking about how for 3 days people were put through sleep deprivation, they were prevented from eating and drinking.
Yes.
And he said that, no, this wasn't just the men, it was young children. And I think, I mean, how can you even put into words the state of mind of these people, that they would have absolutely no sympathy and compassion for those children that we just saw on screen. And, you know, children who are growing, children who are still developing, and to deprive them of food and water is just, it's abominable. There are no words to describe how extreme of a torture this is for young children who are growing up.
And you're from the medical profession, and you have a very clear understanding of what kind of trauma this has been for them mentally, psychologically, physically.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that we really stress on that for anyone out there who might be thinking this isn't a big deal. How terrible is this?
Yeah.
I mean, these are not war soldiers, these are children.
Right.
What effect will it have on them in the long term?
Yes, I mean, this will have, you know, look, the thing about torture is that it's a psychological as well as a physical form of breaking a human being down. And one of the main reasons people include children within the sphere of this practice is because of the effect it has on the parents of the child and the extended part of the community who are connected to that child. So, I mean, other than obviously, you know, nutritionally depriving a child, it will have long-term and short-term consequences. So one of the main things that gets affected, and by the way, these people are experts in the biochemistry of stress. They study the stress axis in the human being, which is called the HPA axis. And what that has to do with is the hormones that are produced. There's three main ones: adrenaline, norepinephrine, and of course cortisol. And they are produced in children in large quantities when they're exposed to stress. So for example, if a child hears a parent or somebody being beaten, and nothing is happening to that child, they're actually in a room safe and secure by themselves, that produces the same amount of cortisol and norepinephrine in their system that would be being produced in a person who's actually being beaten. That's the psychological impact of it, because it is a manipulation of that axis that I was talking about. So exposure or hearing a sensory trauma going on creates the same biochemistry in the body as if you were being traumatized. So various things. I mean, in an adult who has pre-existing comorbidities, like some of the people there have, I think Ridwan is a heart patient.
That's right. And we know the grandfather of Kurdad is there, and he has a cholesterol issue that he was mentioning. Kurdad was telling us yesterday. So there are people there. Yeah. The elderly are there.
I mean, look, one of the countries that is top of the league in terms of torture at the moment is Syria. And thousands of people, thousands, including men, women, and children, have died during these torture tactics. They've actually passed away from it. And you know, this is something that can happen, because if you have, for example, high levels of adrenaline coursing through your veins, what's that going to do? It's going to increase your heart rate, it's going to increase your blood pressure, and cortisol causes endothelial inflammation, which is the inflammation of your blood vessels. What does that do? It creates plaques in your blood vessels. What does that cause? Heart attacks and strokes. So if you are a person who is on medication or has had these problems in the past, and then you're exposed to a physical and psychological deprivation and trauma like they are, I mean, and I think some of these people actually have suffered heart attacks within their captivity or while they've been detained in these centers. That's
right. We know from the testimony of Ridwan Fufa that he himself suffered from a heart attack in Algeria while in prison. And the irony is that this was seen as a very barbaric situation that took place, but now you find the exact same thing happening on Turkish land. So what really is the difference between Algeria and Turkey?
Exactly. I mean, but there's the thing, Turkey has this image that they are on the verge, and they have been for many years, and it's almost become a little bit of a laughing matter that the Turks are not able to make that transition into a modern European state, which is what their ambition is. But if they keep doing things like this, then, you know, forget about Algeria. They're more veering towards the Syrian side of the fence, you know, with these children and what they've had to witness and see.
I mean,
and I mean those pictures, by the way, of the place where they're being kept. I mean, talk about flashbacks of Nuremberg, Germany.
Yes, it really
right?
does bring back. There's a lot of elements in this entire debacle that bring you back and give you this deja vu sensation of some sort of discriminatory propaganda issue. It's like literally takes you back to Nazi Germany. Absolutely.